Welcome to Smoking Eagle's Rod Shop, and in today's video, we're going to be doing WoolWax undercoating on a vehicle. I'm going to give you my review, my DIYer's guide to getting started on this stuff, because until yesterday, I've never even used this stuff before. So what are my thoughts? I've painted before. I'm not a painter, so don't get your panties in a bunch. I'm not a professional. I am a DIYer just like you guys. I just happen to have a lift. I mean, that's about all I got going for me other than my good looks. But anyway, all jokes aside, guys, I got plenty of them and they're all terrible. What do you need to do this system? Now, I've done 2 vehicles in the last day, and I've learned a lot. And by a lot, I mean almost everything that I think you guys need to know whether you want to do this system or not. Now, first off, what is WoolWax? Well, you've heard of Z-Bart, fluid film. There's a bunch of them out there. Well, WoolWax is made in America. It is made from lanolin WoolWax formula, some kind of oily wax stuff that it doesn't dry. It stays a liquid. It gets thick. You can get it in different colors. I think they have clear, but it's actually kind of yellow. It's got like a yellowish tint to it. Almost amber, if you want to call it that. And then they now have black, and it's black. So what do you do with this stuff? Well, you spray it on the bottom of your vehicle. Let me show you what I got here. Now, this is a 2014 Silverado, and as you know, I'm a Chevy guy, and basically you drive them off the lot and they start rusting. So I've sprayed this entire frame down with the stuff, inside and out. Everywhere where these things typically rust, up in there, all the supports for the shocks, all that cross member crap that always rots out on these things. I sprayed everything. I even sprayed the rear end. I don't know why, because obviously the rear end's not going to get a hole rusted in it. But I sprayed this stuff, and we'll see how long this stuff lasts. I live in the Rust Belt, northern Indiana. If you don't know, we get lots and lots of road salt. We don't get that much snow anymore, but they salt the shit out of them. We get like a little flurry, and they're like, dump salt on the roads, make all the Chevys disappear. Spray this stuff on there. It's supposed to soak in, creep, go in all the cracks, crevices, and just stop the rust altogether, because the salt and the water and all that stuff can't really get to your metal. Now, what did I get? I got the 5-gallon bucket with all the fixins. They gave me 3 little bottles. They gave me the spray gun. I got 2 wands here. One sprays straight. The other, ooh, knocking everything over. Man down, man down. The other sprays out the sides. So you shove that in your frame and it sprays all different directions. Now, this stuff is pretty thick, but it is also oily. It's easier to clean up than I thought it would be. You can just wipe it up with a rag, maybe a little bit of any kind of degreaser, cleaner, maybe Purple Power, anything. And I mean, it just wipes right up. I was very surprised at how easy this stuff was to kind of just wipe off of things and clean up. Now, I covered up my Camaro with plastic because I don't want an oily film on anything that I'm going to try and paint at any point in time. But what have I learned? Well, the first thing you're going to want is a good respirator. Now, I hunt around and I keep my eye out for these really nice 3M ones because they're super sweet. I've got 2 or 3 of them. They're very expensive. I buy them at yard sales for $5, $10, things like that. You can go to Harbor Freight and you can get their little spray one. It's like $25. Toss it on because this stuff stinks. It'll burn your eyes and it's not fun to breathe. I learned that very quick into this project. It says that it is solvent-free, non-toxic, and non-hazardous. Probably don't want to eat the stuff, okay? Your crayons say the same thing, but I don't recommend eating them. Yeah, came with all that stuff, the spray wand. I have a little water separator on there, one of the cheap disposable ones you get at Harbor Freight or anywhere. You can look on Amazon, get them for a couple bucks. You screw it on there when you're done with your project or a couple of projects. You just toss it in the trash can, go on with life. Now, my buddy, he bought a gallon for his truck, came over yesterday. We sprayed his truck as well. This is the gallon container. Now, he has a big 2500 or a 3500 dually diesel. It was just enough to do the whole frame. If you wanted to do inside the frame and you wanted to do inside your doors and your rockers and all that stuff, you're gonna need a little more than a gallon for a big vehicle like that. Now, if you have a small SUV or something, you could probably get away with a gallon. You're gonna do okay. My truck, I used a gallon. I even thinned it down. Now, they say you can thin it down, and you can. I had to do that. The temperature's not perfect. Yesterday, it was like 65 degrees out. If you were doing this midsummer and it was 80s or 90s out, it would probably work really, really well. But here, like I said, it's in the 60s. Today, it's actually in the 40s and will be in the 40s while we spray my wife's car. I got heat in here, but I still want to vent some of the fumes out of here, so I'm going to have the bay door cracked. Yeah, you can cut this stuff with vegetable oil. Now, they tell you how you can cut it. Essentially, I came up with 11 ounces per quart container. So I like these little mason jars. You can get like 12 of them for $5 at Walmart or whatever. And they have the measuring thing right on the side. You pour it on there. It works for gas, any kind of crazy stuff, because it's glass, right? Nothing's going to eat it. It's just straight regular vegetable oil. You get it at the Dollar Tree, anywhere. I just stole this out of our kitchen, so when my wife goes to grab it next time, she's going to be mad at me, but she won't know it's me. That's fine. But, yeah, just pour it in here. I pour it in there, and then I put the stuff in, then I shake her up. That thins her down, and then you can spray it out of these nozzles like this. A lot easier. Now, you don't have to thin it down to just spray on your frame and all that stuff. You want your air compressor up as high as you can get it. I have mine set at like 100 PSI. If you go much lower than that, and you really will have issues throwing this stuff out of this gun, because like I said, it's thick stuff. Well, you can see, right, like that. It's thick stuff, right? And it's all oily. Now, you see how dirty I am there? So here, I got a rag, right? And I got this stuff on my fingers. Boom. It's completely gone. There's a little bit of an oily film on my hand, but nothing crazy. It's like almost like WD-40 that you wiped off. I obviously need to wash my hands before I eat a taco, but yeah, that stuff, it's super easy to clean up. I have a little tiny space heater here. I'm using that just to heat all this stuff up so it sprays a little bit easier. That is super handy. You're gonna need a shitload of rags. You're gonna need a good light source. I just kind of carry this with me and stick it on the vehicle. And then another thing I learned is you wanna work from the front to the back, or the back to the front, and you wanna do the inner frame stuff first. One big thing on Chevys, at least, probably Fords nowadays, every Chrysler, Toyota, who knows what you got. If you're gonna do the inner frame, right? Like on this truck, it's clear full of garbage. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna get your air hose with a little rubber wand on it or something, or even one of these. This is just a spray wand that I've fabricated a piece of brake line onto. Shove it up in your frame rails, blow as much crap out of your frame as you possibly can. There's rust, there's dirt, there's rocks, there's gravel, all kinds of random junk, leaves, limbs, dead animals inside the frame of your vehicle. You want to coat it with this stuff, and all that crap's in there. Well, who cares, right? You can put all that oily crap on that junk, and it's still going to get slimy and protect your frame for the most part. Yeah, you could do that. But what happened to me was every time I would shove this in there and pull the trigger, it'd blow all that shit out into my face. It's like I can't see nothing. There's a big dust cloud. I got oily stuff flying all over. Yeah, that's a big piece of advice I have for you, is just shove something up inside your frame, blow everything out the best you can, let it settle. You're not going to get it perfect, right? But just spend 20 minutes, blow it out the best you can. All right, so as you can see, I got the terrain up here on the lift. It's not very big, so it shouldn't take a lot of stuff to do. This thing is actually in really, really good shape. It's not very old, so it should be in really good shape. What we're gonna do is we're gonna spray all this stuff up in here. We're gonna get up inside all these little holes. We're gonna spray all this stuff first, and we're gonna work our way this way, doing inside all the frame, anywhere we can, and then we'll come back and we'll spray just on the outside, right? I've got a light set up here. I got a couple more lights up here. Now my furnace is running. I'm gonna have a couple of fans running to circulate this stuff with my bay door cracked open just to try and get some of these fumes out. And I'm gonna have a mask on. So you guys aren't gonna be able to hear me much, but I will get the camera in here. I'll show you some things. It's not gonna take very long, but I wanna show you guys how this stuff works. So bear with me on the audio here.
Okay, so all I gotta do is stick this hose in here. It's a little tricky with one hand, but stick your hose in. Oh, maybe this hole will work better. And then you spray. That's all I'm gonna do. Like that. And I'm gonna go around and do all the holes that I can get to in the whole frame. So I'm gonna set you guys down and go to town. All right, guys, so I got that done. All I did was unscrew the hose. Now I'm going to screw on the other tip. I've got a little bit left in here. I've got another one that's partially full. I'm going to pour the two of those together and get us a full one here. And then we'll start spraying everything. I got all the holes, the cracks, the crevices that I could get to in a respectable amount of time. These new cars got so many cracks and holes and little pinholes here and there. You could be here all afternoon, literally, if you wanted to. Just getting this stuff in every little nook and cranny. But it's oil-based and it creeps. So, in theory, it should do that work for you. You just got to get it up high enough that it can float down. Okay, so that's a good spot. That's easy to see. And as you guys can see, it goes on fast and very, very easy. And I'm going to avoid the exhaust system as best I can and the engine, catalytic converter, electrical stuff. But as far as the frame and the rockers, I'm just going to spray this stuff on everything. And I'm going to start up here at the front and work my way to the back. And I'll show you guys what we end up with. All right, so don't mind all the lines on my face from the old mask there, but it's what you got to do sometimes. I had the bay door open I opened it all the way for about 5 minutes and let the fans run. That's about all it took. I mean, I can smell the stuff in here, but it's not like so strong that it's killing me or anything. I'm just going to take a handful of rags and just start wiping stuff off. But that's kind of the coolest thing about this is, you know, the easy part is spraying it on, but it's also the fun part, and it's also the messy part. So you kind of are doing all that at once, but look, I just wiped that hose off, and look at all that on this rag. But it wipes right off. And now if you want to touch this rag or this hose, it's not going to get you gross because this stuff just wipes right off. But on the car, it sticks and it soaks in and gets kind of almost like a gel. So I'm just going to wipe all this stuff off, and then I'm probably going to fill all 3 of my little containers full, just because I already got everything out, and then I'll have them. If I need to spray something, I can just toss the gun on one of them, or I might even leave the gun on one and then just have them all full. That way I don't have to dig this 5-gallon barrel out every time I want to use them just to touch stuff up or whatever. Maybe I'm working on a car and there's a super rusty spot and I'm like, you know, I could use a little of that stuff. I'll just grab this gun, squirt it on there, and toss her back on the shelf. I only had one kind of issue. I was shoving one of these hoses up inside one of the holes, trying to get it past a bolt or something, and I hit it and it kind of kinked the hose a little bit, and it pressurized this jug like instantly and started shooting the stuff out of the breather holes on the top, which is right here. So be mindful of that if you're doing this. Other than that, it turned out really well. I'll get you guys under there and show you kind of the final product here in just a minute. Once I get this stuff all kind of wiped down and cleaned up, we'll go over my final thoughts, and you guys will let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, got everything cleaned up, even wiped your eyeball off there, got the furnace off, so the audio should be a heck of a lot better than it has been. It took me about an hour to do all this, maybe 15, 20 minutes to wipe off all my tools and stuff. But yeah, let's check this out. So as you can see, I sprayed everything I could
and I missed a spot or two. I mean, no big deal. All down through there, the floors, the rockers, I sprayed it all. I skipped all the heat shields and directly above the exhaust just to be, you know, cautious there. Sprayed all this stuff all down through here. Looks like I missed a little bit of a spot right there. Couldn't see perfect with my little zombie mask on, but, you know, I can come back and touch that stuff up later. The cool thing about this stuff is it stays a liquid. And so it kind of self-heals. I am going to put this down, and right here where the lift pads are, I'll spray those. So maybe I could reach under and get to that. I don't know. This car sits pretty low. But anyway, back here, sprayed all this stuff all up inside there. Everything I could get to, frame, floors, subframe, cradle, A-arms, lower control arms, bushings. Anywhere where I could get up into and see the floor or something that would rot out, I sprayed it. I think it turned out really good for, you know, a couple hours worth of work by the time it's all said and done. Sprayed up inside all these holes and everything. All right, so what's the down low on the WoolWax? Can you do it at home? What do you need? You know, tell us everything, Dustin. Okay, I won't hold back. I'll let you in on all the secrets that I've learned spraying 3 cars this weekend. Never used the stuff before. It's very, very user-friendly. DIY, definitely. I would say minimum air compressor size would be a 30-gallon. I've got a 60-gallon. I'm running at 90 to 100 PSI the whole time, and it sprays great there. I tried lowering it down a little bit. It doesn't like lower PSI. If you want to adjust, spray less product, you just got to adjust the tip here. You can't adjust your pressure like you can on a spray gun. You know, got a couple of different adjustments there. You're going to need some kind of eye protection, and you don't want to breathe this stuff because it stinks and kind of burns your eyes, burns your lungs a little bit. Definitely going to need an ass load of gloves and paper towels because this stuff, it wipes up really easy, wipes right off, but it gets literally everywhere. If you're going to get a 5-gallon bucket, definitely get the pump. Don't try and save $30 like I did and be a cheap ass, because 90% of the mess that I made was just trying to pour the shit out of this 5-gallon bucket. Small space heater to heat your bottles up just so that the stuff flows a little bit better. Lots and lots of light. It's definitely a lot easier with my lift, but I did do a dually this weekend with my buddy Curtis, and we did it just fine in the driveway on jack stands. We jacked up one side, I crawled under, sprayed it, worked my way out. Then we went around, jacked up the other side, I sprayed it and worked my way out, and that way I got both sides from both angles. And then we did the front, we did the back. Took about the same amount of time, couple of hours. The only difference is you're kind of worming around on the ground. Yeah, if it was warm out, I'm sure it would be nice to do this out in the driveway, or at least have all the bay doors open, have a little more air circulation. But yeah, I'm happy with the stuff. How long is it going to last? I don't know. They say a year or two, and then you got to touch it up or respray it, depending on how much you drive, the road conditions where you are. We're northern Indiana in the Rust Belt. That's why everything I own is a rust bucket. But yeah, time will tell. I will do an update video and let you guys know about that. Let me know in the comments below what you think, or maybe I'll put down in the comments too in a year or so whether I had to redo the cars or what I came up with, or a link to the other video. Who knows? It's not then yet, it's now. So yeah, be looking out for that. I'll post some other videos around my melon here of things we're doing in the shop, and we're doing all kinds of stuff, guys, from WoolWax to frame swaps to painting cars to building burnout cars to LS swaps to mini bikes, go-karts, you name it, we do it here. If it's cool, it's probably gonna happen. Yeah. Oh, we've got merch available on our website. There's been a little tab up here. If you're interested in any of that stuff, you just click, go to the website, check out the stuff. I'll send it to you. Hats, t-shirts, things of that nature. We even got beanie hats because winter's coming. What else do I got? Oh, we got a Facebook group. Go over there. Show us what you're working on. And we've got a membership program here on YouTube that helps us buy supplies and put on these cool videos for you guys. So if you're interested in that, go jump over there and help us out there. And you get early access to all our videos when we post them. You don't have to wait till Friday or Saturday when they go live for the public. And yeah. All right, guys. Till next time, keep on wrenching. Peace.